If you make it life or death, like you ain't gonna eat another meal, better yet, your kids aren't gonna need another meal, well then you're gonna train harder.
All right, what's going on, guys? Yes, I have the pleasure of introducing you all to David Weck, Weck Method. If you don't know who he is, well, do some research. Today, we are gonna go over the coiling technique. Now,
yes.
You have been famous for this. This is what you've basically put to the world.
Correct.
What is coiling and how is it beneficial?
The functions that we want are fight and flight. They're two sides of the same coin. Mm-hmm. So if we have flight, we have objective because we can time it so we know absolutely. Whereas fight is subjective because A beats B, B beats C, C beats A, styles make fights. But the same principles are at work. It's gravity, your body weight, the ground, that's all you got. That's why weight class is so important in fighting because Kitty needs claws if he's small. So basically what a coil is how you get the most from your trunk, from your core, and you relate the hip to the shoulder. It's moving without moving. So if my 9th rib is here, what I'm doing is I'm learning how to raise the hip and lower the shoulder here. Mm-hmm. And what that does is it gives me the ability to move with no effort because everything's controlled in this quadrant right here. Mm-hmm. When I'm doing that locomotive coil. Okay. So I now have my maximum power in this position. You did the Landmine University and that's the basis of it, sure. Right? So I'm here right now, mm-hmm. and it's predatorial. I'm poised to pounce. I'm not getting tired. Yeah. If I were here, now I'm getting tired.
Sure.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Here it's my whole body related, mm-hmm. and I can snap to the other side.
So this is a great position to be in to start off when you are going into either running mechanics or explosive
anything.
Power.
So here's the deal. If let's say I'm doing a bilateral lift, mm-hmm. right? Mm-hmm. And I either want to be internally torsioned or externally torsioned. Mm-hmm. If I have optimized the coil on each side, now I'm going to be able to pack them both just a little bit deeper. Mm-hmm. See what I'm saying? Yeah. If I haven't gone to here and I've only done that, yeah. I'm not going to find that same depth in it.
Why though? Why are we coiling?
We want to increase our efficiency so that we get more output with less input, and then we maximize input to get the greatest output. If I don't have efficiency, I can't be my best. So if I want to be my absolute fastest, I have to be balanced head over to foot so that when I land on power and balance. I land on power and balance. If I'm tight and stiff, yeah. the way it's mostly taught, mm-hmm. when I land, I'm not in balance. So if I land,
yeah, you have to have the center
I have to be good, right? Mm-hmm. But if I'm going straight, I got to land it right on that balance, and I got to land it right on that balance, and boom, boom, boom. So I'm never out of balance. Okay. And if you watch the best in the world, this is what they actually do. And it's called the spinal engine. Mm-hmm. So some people say the core, it just transmits power, it doesn't create power. Yeah. Bullshit. If I'm gonna hit a baseball, yep. What's my spine do? Boom, yeah. Right? Yep. And it's the integration of the hips and the shoulders, mm-hmm. but this is the genesis, the proximal body, mm-hmm. that's what you gotta do, and you relate it to the distals, mm-hmm. for the hardest punches, the hardest kicks, yep. the best footwork, the best balance.
Okay, so what can we do from a fundamental standpoint to start incorporating this into our training?
Okay, so what we wanna think is we wanna think polarities. I wanna maximize the coil and I wanna maximize the long. I can show you an exercise and you an exercise where you can start to really get a feel for this so that we get the absolute most coil. Okay. And what the coil also does is it protects my flank. From a throwing standpoint, I gotta be able to.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense with throwing.
From a hitting standpoint.
Yeah,
and if you think about it, sticks, stones, mm-hmm. those are the first tools ever. When we learned how to use a stick, what I would do to you is I'd hide it behind my back. I will be your servant, right? Whoop, bap. And I just win my seed, not his, aha. That's it. You're gonna take one foot and you take the opposite hand and you're gonna reach the hand up in line with that opposite foot. Mm-hmm. And so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna reach up as high as I possibly can, use the wall for balance, yep. and targeting. Even let yourself go up, yep. onto the balls of the feet. Yep. And with this one, I'm gonna take my funny bone and I'm gonna try to drill it into the dimple of, yep. the glute. Okay. So what it is I'm here and I'm doing this, and you can see how I'm verticalized like that. Mm-hmm. That is the longer I can make this side, the more I can coil this side. Yep. and I'm creating that verticalization that lets me have flank.
Explain why we lift the hip here.
Okay.
Because you do want that
You
connection.
hike that hip up.
Right, you do want that.
Yes.
Explain the importance of that, though.
So basically, we'll look at it from a flight standpoint. If I'm here on this foot and I'm going to this foot, the idea is I got to get the foot up to cycle through. Well, don't just get the foot up, get the hip up, and now I get a longer, more powerful stride onto the foot. So it's like, if I had like pegs, I don't have legs, these are prosthetics, they don't bend. The only way that I can walk is I lift the hip, lift the hip, lift the hip. And you see how I'm walking without the legs. See what I mean? But if I'm in the old model of brace the core, you know, I can't do it, right? Because that ratio, the way that your spine is curved, when I side bend, it naturally wants to coil. It naturally does it because of the thoracic, lordotic. So you have the kyphotic, lordotic, and that S shape is what gives you that. So I'm wound up on this side and I've got that perfect balance. And then when I drop on it, it's a coiled spring. So on the wall, here's what it looks like. I line up one foot, I put the hand in line with that same foot, which is incidentally the highest that you can reach. If I try to reach here, I'm not as high. Here it's the X and I'm going higher. Here I'm not as high. Here I'm not as high. Over the foot is how I get the highest possible lift.
Over?
The hand over the foot.
Okay. All right.
So hand over the foot. So here on the wall, and you use the wall to get up as high as you can, and then that drops you down. And what you want to think is you're throttling your wrist like this, and you're pressing in to get that. And what you want to feel is here.
Yeah, it's gonna tighten.
Everything here is long, everything here is coiled, and being up on my toes like this, that's easy. Because the intent is up. And then what I can do from here is I can bring it down and now think of elbow. Elbow coming up, and that will translate to like landmine, right? And right here, I'm weaponizing this elbow. If you hit this elbow, that's the ground.
That's why I'm retired, man. In the beginning, we're doing 60 seconds each side. Now, this is I say a pre-activation, somewhat, right? And then you can do this going into weight training, going into combat sport training, anything, right?
Well, if you want to increase the power of your punches and your ability to move, coil is going to be a foundational component in the strength gains that we get with this. I mean, we've got guys who do a 40-pound PR in a bent press because now they know the coil. A lot of functional guys, they forget about being strong. Like, you still gotta be strong. If he bench presses 400 pounds and I know how to do this and do this, well, okay, I'm gonna get my ass kicked.
You're right. You're right. We say this all the time with a lot of the fighters too, as well. It's like, that's our X factor. You know, these guys have high amounts of skill, especially the guys that I work with, they're elite. You give them that strength, you give them the ability to be powerful, that's the X factor for them. We can tap into something like this to help them get that activation to where we can train to get stronger, to get more powerful.
Bingo. And express it without bleeding anything. Right? So if I have a coil right here like this, if you put your hand on me here, I can hold whatever I need to hold. I mean, we could stack 5 of you there. My athletic inadequacy is my superpower because it's the ultimate motivation to learn the new tricks, right? If I train like the guy who's better than me, well, then I get beat because he's better than me.
The ones that have the best innovators are the ones that don't really have the best athletic ability.
But we try, right? And we never give up, right? We never give up.
It's talent. It's talent to understand what's needed.
Limit force elastic charges your body unlike anything else. Because 100 pounds of band force is the same force as 100 pounds. But a band, pop, the weight, boom. So you're charging.
We love bands around here.
You're charging the nervous system when you do the band. So now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put that here. I'm gonna use the wrist extension, right? You put your arm through the band. You put it next to the elbow. So you're not putting it here because there's no leverage, right? So you put it here and you take the hand and you wrap it that way. And you're not pulling with the hand because that cuts off your ability to go from the proximal. So now, you see how I'm getting that long here? See where I'm turning it over?
Yeah.
And now I'm coming down here on this side. And that has charged me up. That limit force elastic gives you a post-activation potentiation, the PAP, the PAP, but it's charged your nervous system more than just an isometric. And we call it expometric because we want that exponential power.
I like it. Okay.
Yeah. So that's
new.
It is ISO, but when you stretch a band and you can't stretch it anymore, if you put your finger on it, like you're taking the pulse of a salamander, there's a fucking current in there. It's like zzz, zzz, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's relentless.
What's it called?
Expometric.
Expometric. Okay.
See, it's always good when you can define your own words. Like Bosu ball.
That's true.
Let's say I'm doing a med ball throw against the wall.
Yep.
What I can do is I can take the med ball,
coil it up.
I can come into coil, weaponize, fully sprung, and then boom. Let's say I got like a weight here. Underhand figure eights. So I like the RMT club, our club. So basically, if I'm stepping forward and I'm swinging something, boom, boom,
gotcha,
boom. So I'm constantly going to that shape, right? That shape, I could do 10,000 reps like this, and I'm not getting tired, right? And I'm able to put it.
I don't know. You might have a little bit of glute activation going on there.
No, but that's what I'm saying.
Oh, you might be feeling it.
No. Here's what it is. This is so freaking strong. And when I give it the advantage, like
you're good.
You know what I mean? But if I'm all plumb square, I'm getting tired. Like
because you're not in a coil, you're not locked in.
I ain't gonna catch the rabbit. Right? Oh, really? Who's gonna eat tonight?
That's great character on that one. Fucking hell.
That's the intensity with which you have to train.
What are we looking at sets and reps wise for this?
In the beginning, same thing. Give it like a 60-second hold. Because in the beginning, they can't intensify the neural aspect of it. So better to go a little bit longer and learn the position. You learn the positions of ultimate strength and balance on each side. You have a destination to go to that goes into its absolute strongest, most sprung, energy efficient. I got everything I need. And if I have that on both sides, everything in between, right?
Gotcha.
Everything in between.
David, where can they find you at now?
Weckmethod.com, W-E-C-K method.com. And then on Instagram, I am the David Weck.
Perfect. Stay tuned. We're gonna do a couple more videos on the channel, so make sure you lock in. And we're gonna do a podcast too. So we got him for a little bit. So I'm gonna take advantage.
Every step stronger is the mission, and knowledge is power. If you know what to do and you do it, that's power.
Perfect. Catch you guys later.